All right, ladies, this month we are talking about comparisons and how we compare our lives to others. I know as a mom and as an entrepreneur, I still compare myself to other successful women out there, and I can guarantee you your daughter is doing the same. So I want you to listen to what I've learned about comparisons and how to take that into something that is really negative and how to turn it into something positive and save your daughter a ton of pain. All right, my entire career, I have constantly, in a negative way, compared myself to other financial advisors. I started out in the business older than most, and I was a female. There was no other females that were in the business starting at the same time that I was. And many of the men that I was starting out with were actually more successful than I was earlier on. All right, how do you think that made me feel? I started comparing the difference that I had in comparison to them, and it actually degraded myself and made me have low self-esteem. Then as I got more successful in the business, probably 3 or 4 years in, I decided to partner up with another female advisor and loved this female advisor, but guess what? Her and I couldn't have thought more differently about how to run a business and how to hold a client meeting. She was uber analytic, and I was more along the lines of the relationship and the sales with the client and making sure clients were making good decisions around their wealth versus analyzing to the 9th degree a mutual fund. Her and I, again, great friends, but thought so differently in the business. I started, again, comparing how different I was to her. And what do you think that did to me? It lowered my self-esteem. Then when I was even probably 12 years into the business, I joined a firm that was a male-dominated firm, and through many conversations, indirect and direct conversations, I was told that my opinion didn't matter, that I wasn't worthy enough, that I'm not running my meetings appropriate, all that other kind of stuff that I actually allowed in. Yes. However, what did that do to me? I was comparing how different I was to these other male advisors, even though I admired how successful they were, but I was comparing myself to how different they were, and it actually lowered my self-esteem, my self-worth, and made me very self-conscious about who I was. So when I look back on all this, I'm thinking, I really spent time comparing myself and comparing how different I was. And it wasn't through years of personal development where I actually found out that being different is actually really cool and you can use it to your advantage. When I look back to when I started to be an advisor, guess what? This is really cool, but I actually finished number 2 in the country my first year. None of those males that I started with, they even came close to my production. You know why? Because I started switching my thought pattern around my beliefs about myself and realizing that the differences that I had, I was using to my advantage. Same thing when I partnered with this other female advisor. It's like, no, I want to celebrate my strengths and my differences, and how I run meetings is maybe not better, not worse, but just different. When I partnered at the male firm, that's where light bulb really kicked in with me, where I was like, you know what? I am so tired of dealing with not feeling worthy and trying to live up to someone else's standard or live under someone else's umbrella of what they think or how they think I should operate, that it finally clicked. And ladies, it took me years and years for it to click, where I today can sit here and celebrate my differences and who I am and use that to my advantage when I'm comparing myself to others. So I'm here to tell you this. When you use your advantage of being different, when you use that to your benefit, the negative or unhealthy comparison stops. When you truly dig into your beliefs on who you are, and by the way, the beliefs that we have about ourselves, our money, our relationships, the earth, everything is typically formed in our subconscious brain, and it's formed by the time we're age 6, in the early and formative years. So what I'm going to tell you this is that when you're comparing yourself to other mothers, or other successful business owners, or your daughters are comparing themselves to others in their sporting arenas or in their school, I want you to tell them, and I want you as a mother, as a parent, to be aware of the differences and celebrate those differences, because they're super, super important for us to have differences. I truly believe we all get really insecure when we're different, but at the same time too, we all want to have a unique and special and we all want to be unique and different and special. So it's kind of the yin and yang thing going on, but celebrate those differences. Don't let them bring you down, and have healthy beliefs about yourself, and truly dig deep on what those beliefs are, because they've formed in your brain a long time ago, and you got to spend time truly getting into what you believe about your differences and make that interaction and that comparison a positive experience for both you and your daughter.